CGTN, China Global Television Network.
Beleza Marcio Lopes has been practicing and teaching capoeira in Capetown since 1999. Originally developed by slaves in Brazil in the 16th century, capoeira is a mix of dance, gymnastic performance, and martial art, and is practiced around the world. Despite setbacks, Beleza continues to hold on to his dream of celebrating the heritage of African slaves through this unique form. Capetown has for centuries been a melting pot for people from around the world. Local inhabitants, European settlers, and slaves from Madagascar, Sri Lanka, Indonesia, and Malaysia all converged in this port city lying at the southern tip of Africa. Ever since apartheid ended in 1994, the city has increasingly lured people from other parts of the continent.
How long are you here?
Like half an hour.
Half an hour?
Yeah.
Oh,
He's been here for half an hour. I've been here for like 10 minutes.
In a central suburb of Cape Town called Observatory, a group of children is preparing for a lesson in an unusual physical activity, one that was virtually unknown in South Africa until the late 1990s. Their teacher is Angolan expatriate Marcio or Beleza Lopes, and the subject is capoeira, a high-impact mixture of dance, performance, martial arts and play that originated in Angola before traveling to Brazil centuries ago.
one is going to do this, dog. Up, east, the other one.
Capoeira, it's a lot, you know. It's a combination of many things. That's what's made capoeira.
Get to jingle. I change, but I'm looking at him there. Always the direction is here. It's him. I'm here with him. You got it? Right.
It's fighting martial art. It is poetry. It is music. It is, you know, it's everything. African slaves in Brazil used to practice and disguise as a dance and include the music. But the real purpose was fighting techniques.
Okay, 2-2, look.
Capoeiristas around the world usually are members of a specific school. Beleza originally started with Abada Capoeira, led by Brazilian master Camisa, and brought these techniques to Cape Town. Local audiences were stunned by the agility of the performances and by the way in which fluid body motion combines with gymnastic strength and delicately controlled violence.
The music in capoeira, it's very important because it's through that energy is generated, what we call axé. We use the main instrument, which is the beating bow. Normally there is 3. Then we have the drum, the atabaque, and then 2 tambourines, and the agogo, the bell. Mostly basic movement of capoeira is ginga, which is move one side to the other, and from the ginga, all the movements come from the...
The next move is the descida básica, moving downwards from a parallel position. This is followed by the negativa, from which the capoeirista can easily kick or move away. The roli is a roll-around move which brings the capoeirista back to the ginga position. There are 3 esquivas, or duck moves, the esquiva de lado, the esquiva de frente, and the esquiva diagonal. Together with the kicks, some intended for injury and some for performance, these are the basic capoeira moves. Come the weekend, some of Beleza's students gather on Camps Bay Beach. As the children finish, Beleza is joined by some of the other capoeiristas he has been training over the years.
You can't say that the capoeirista is just a sportman. You know, capoeirista is beyond of being a sportman. You know, he's an artist. You know, he's a poet. We make acrobatic movements and so on. So we are gymnastics also too.
Beleza is graded as a purple belt, which is 2 belts away from the highest point a capoeirista can achieve. One of the skills a master needs to develop is how to lead the music.
When the beat goes up and up, the rhythm keeps intense, and then you feel it, that energy comes, and we call it share. And then you feel sometimes goosebumps into your body. And then somehow everyone starts feeling the same, and the energy goes high.
Beleza has been living and working in observatory ever since coming to Cape Town in 1999. A small room here serves as an office for his capoeira education organization.
Basically, I came to study here. And after my studies, I was supposed to go back home. And because of capoeira, I ended up staying in Cape Town.
With Portuguese and African ancestors on both his mother and father's sides, Beleza grew up in an affluent mixed-race family.
That's my brother and sisters, yeah. That's me and my father. I don't know, this maybe was in 78. Yeah, it was 78.
The first time I saw capoeira was in a TV, as in the movie Only the Strong. But it was vague, I was maybe 8 or 10. And then after that, my cousin started capoeira. And then I was like, oh, capoeira. And then I said to go watch. And it was quite good classes, and then I like it. I felt this is nice. This is something for me to do. You know, it was spontaneously. You know, it wasn't like I forced myself. You know, it was like, okay, I think I want to do this, and then I just felt connected with it.
Wanting him to study in English, Beleza's father sent him to Cape Town. Here he made friends with other Angolans and was joined by his brother Nico. This group quickly gained attention as the city's first practitioners of capoeira.
I did for fun while I was studying. And then just later when I decided, okay, I can do this maybe full time, I just decided, that's it. I'm gonna do this professionally, 100%. I'm gonna try to be the best I can.
Beleza traveled to Brazil to meet other capoeiristas and to train under Camisa, master of the Abada school.
It was something there that attracted me. Capoeira just like got into me like so strongly that we could never come out, you know. So I could never leave.
One of the people who became part of Beleza's circle in the early years is his former partner, Anna Versveld. She was a founding member of his Youth Education Association, and her own young daughter now attends Beleza's Capoeira classes.
I think the thing that was really appealing about Capoeira was that it was one of the few easily accessible multiracial spaces that one could find in Cape Town at the time. It was this place where it was completely integrated and was a big group of people coming together and training together, and they opened up a place to engage across those racial boundaries that was so deeply entrenched in South Africa because they were not South African. It was quite a lot of sort of fun and dancing and music and making music together. We would quite often all gather. There were lots of parties with samba, and there would be the celebration of Capoeira, but also the celebration of physicality and the celebration of being young, I guess.
Like Brazil, Cape Town has its own history of slavery. The legacy of the mostly Muslim slaves brought over in the 17th and 18th centuries is still visible across the city. Robben Island, which centuries later was a jail for Nelson Mandela, had also incarcerated rebel slave leaders. For Beleza, doing capoeira has brought a powerful connection with history, and being on the beach reminds him of how people were forcefully taken from his continent by sea.
When I looked at the pictures, I looked at movies and so on, slaves normally they were chains. And people in chains, they cannot move much their hands, so what they have to use is elbows, his heads. It was in mostly the foot.
If I make it like my hands are tight. Yeah. So if I go, I move here, I can move there, can still kick, can go headbutt as well. Put my hands in the floor.
Self-defense amongst slaves was prohibited, so the music and dance elements of capoeira were developed to disguise the fact that it was a martial art.
That's what they used to use to fight the slave owners or the army that was looking for them, because they were like always chasing slaves who were running away.
Runaway slaves gathered in safe spaces called quilombos, but when they were captured, they were severely punished. Even when slavery was abolished, capoeira was still prohibited for many years, and it was only in the early 20th century that it was accepted as a public form of expression.
It was meant to be here. I mean, I have a mission I think I need to accomplish.
This is not a foreign thing, it's actually African and coming back here. Now it became also like a spiritual part of me. It is basically, you know, my, how can I say, my center. You know, it's where I can see what is wrong, what is right.
One, two.
Today, Beleza does a class for young children. Many of his students from early days are now bringing their own children to him for capoeira lessons.
Let's go.
Beleza is assisted by Keith Alexander, who started training capoeira with Beleza when he was still a little boy. Keith comes from very difficult circumstances, and capoeira has played a large role in giving him purpose in life.
1, 2, 3, Capoeira!
I'm one of those kids that came from projects. As I grew up, it wasn't that easy because it was time I was homeless. I didn't even have my family to run through because they saw me as a different sort of kid. They didn't see me as a kid as they saw me growing up. And it was tough, but I saw capoeira as something which can uplift me. Not anything else like made me feel happy and positive about myself in doing capoeira.
Last year, I saw a man die in front of my eyes. The whole gangs played soccer and they argued about in goal, and someone grabbed the gun and shot a man dead. I don't understand violence. I see it every day, morning, afternoon, night.
Capoeira made me feel like I'm running faster. I can think better, I can think quicker and smarter, and it gave me something which I could depend on very much as a platform where I could come and just relieve myself, throw away my stress and just after all be happy.
Beleza's teaching has increasingly taken him to communities on the Cape Flats, the poor area outside Capetown, where Keith comes from.
The people here in communities, they don't have much in their life. What they have, it's a lot of violence, discrimination, lack of opportunities, and so on. And capoeira, it can be seen as an opportunity also to improve their life, their conditions of living. It is a hope, as the same it was for slaves.
Beleza, kickboxing also
No, only capoeira. Capoeira does everything. You don't need kickboxing or anything else. Okay. Bye. 2-2. The best capoeiristas come from poor backgrounds and streetwise people, also too, very streetwise. It's helping a lot of students for the motor skills, coordination. Children comes to capoeira, after capoeira, they just feel happy. You know, it feels natural for them to do it, to do the movements and so on. A lot of children that are very sad and they come to class, and soon they start doing capoeira, they really, you know, get this happiness, you know.
Switch, partner. Switch.
So she's powerful. It's powerful and I think when she recognizes that a person needs her, like it's become easier.
When you go inside, everyone is gonna have a turn. Okay, I wanna go. 2 go in, and then I tell you to stop, you come out, and then another 2 come in. No one goes in cutting, okay? Okay, it's enough. Friday, okay, Friday, 3 o'clock again, okay? Good.
The joy that the children receive from doing capoeira has helped Beleza understand the psychology of its original practitioners better.
I think we're still dealing with the problem of slavery, you know. South Africa is still dealing with the problem of slavery and apartheid. And my way of thinking, I think capoeira was a way of keep them alive while they were taken from their motherland, ripped up from everything they had, it, families breaking apart. And the people who managed to arrive there, the only way of they can keep them alive, the only thing that make them happy at that present moment was the culture. Capoeira brought to me to understand what is being African mean. As an African man, as born in Africa. Because I started giving more value to culture. I started giving more values to what we have around. After independence in Angola, the mixed people, we start to be seen as the privileged. So we grow up being thought that we're not actually Africans. Not Africans in terms of born in Africa, but not black. I used to see people in the street dancing, for example, African dance performing, or people using traditional clothing and so on. For me, it was very foreign. I was never identify myself with it. And then they have the language, which I don't know how to speak. I don't have a clan name. I don't have like a tribe that I say I belong to, that my ancestors are there, and then that was how the tribe started. My tribe is this. I feel like Capoeira is a new tribe for me to identify myself as an African.
Beleza is committed to celebrating African heritage through capoeira, but the practicalities of teaching have become increasingly difficult. A few years ago, Beleza broke away from Abada Capoeira to be part of a new school called Novo Capoeira, which he believes serves the needs of the city's people better. But without Abada's greater institutional support, the road has been much tougher, and in recent years, the NGO sector in Capetown has been hit hard by cuts in funding.
Basically, today, my task is now to email parents, tell them they need to pay.
Beleza is an exceptional capoeira teacher, and he can pull together a vision, but he's not the best organizer in the world. So no matter how good your teaching is, no matter how selfless you are, no matter how big your vision is, if you are not able to play the game by some standard societal rules of running an organization, you're going to struggle.
I have to be kind of busy on social media or WhatsApp all the time. I can see that I cannot handle it for long, and I can do it maybe for maybe a year, but then when things stabilize, we need more staff to do this, to work. Otherwise, I can't send emails, teaching, do the social media. I mean, basically everything.
None of Beleza's adult students have shown up for class today.
Let's see how it goes. At the moment, I will do what I can from the morning till night. And I couldn't imagine myself leaving capoeira and do something else. I mean, now I have a possibility to do what I like, what I love, It was a dream that, to do all these things and be happy. That's most important. Capoeira makes me happy. Working with the kids, it's a pleasure for me. I give everything. There is no way I'm gonna leave capoeira to do something else. So it was my purpose.
For me, it's a fight, but it's an enjoyable fight. It's something that I have the heart to do it. I don't really care about the girls, the parties, the hype, the good body or whatever, or the awards that I'm gonna be winning or whatever it is going to be, the glamour. My purpose now is to teach, but wherever who needs it, I'm gonna be there teaching.
10, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16.
At a class for teenagers, Beleza uses the opportunity to promote awareness of his cause.
Who knows a little bit of the history of Capoeira?
Well, I know that it was something to do with the slaves in Brazil, African slaves that went into Brazil. It was kind of like their symbol or something.
You have to remember, slaves, they were forced. When they were taken from Africa to Brazil, they couldn't take anything with as a slave. So the only thing they could take is the culture that was carrying the body. I mean, as a human beings, we like to have pleasure in life. Dance, music, you know? I mean, Capoeira is the same. It's movement. You celebrate something. It's always... And then if you take music from you take culture, take everything, you know, we are nothing without it, you know? And now it's coming back to Africa again. But the important thing is that we cannot forget, you know, the origins and then why it is here. So it's to help, it's to free people, to restore, you know. So you're doing Capoeira for that. It's to help you to live better. They must be proud that it is African, you know. It's from Africa. I think that's type of mentality I want to put to the students and understand that this is not a foreign thing. It's just like a thing that went away a bit and then is coming back now, you know. Yeah, I know the potential that it had, but how you can make other people see what you see, and that's the difficulty. I'm pleased that I managed to keep myself focused, to be able to show people that Capoeira, it's here to stay and to prosper. This is not white, that's the natural color. The black belt doesn't exist in Capoeira.
At the end of the class, a student receives his very first belt, a vote for the future of Capoeira on the continent.
They look very bright, the future of Capoeira in South Africa, actually in all African continent. And I mean, all Africans, I think they should help to grow Capoeira, you know, to make it grow here. And maybe not necessarily have to do it, but be proud of this that belongs to them. I don't call it asking more.
Finally, a few weeks before the end of the year, Beleza students from all over Cape Town gather to perform at the yearly Observatory Street Festival, and it seems that Capoeira in the city is back on track again.